So I ask permission from the Venerable Theras and all the monks, my fellow co-Dhamma practitioners, to speak a few words now on this occasion, this whole time we've spent together to perform these various sasana kits, these various activities, functions, ceremonies of the sasana to do with the external material aspects of the sasana, coming together and doing the Sangha Kammas over these last few days has been a great act of showing and expressing our respect to the Dhamma Vinaya. And we've been together now for many days, and this whole period of time, all these various activities and ceremonies, the whole activity has been very smooth and riabrai. There have been no obstacles. And so today myself and the group have reached the time where we return to Thailand to carry on doing our job, doing our usual roles and duties, that which is of communal benefit and fostering the Dhamma Vinaya. All of us here are all living under the shade of the Bodhi tree, under the shade of the ochre robe, protected by the ochre robe, died from the natural extraction. We're part of the Arya Vamsa, the noble lineage, and this is a life of purity. What will make this life full, or make this life come to fruition, is the development of wholesome qualities, practice which is in line in the footsteps or in the tracks of the Arya Sangha, and living up to the clear principles and ideals that they upheld. Rather than declining, this will lead to great growth. So usually in practice we should reflect and ask, what exactly is my duty? We have to strive and put forth effort, and must be develop wholesome qualities rather than heedlessness. Heedless qualities, heedlessness leads to decay. Heedfulness leads to wholesomeness or growth. Practice is about going against the stream. At first, things we do in the practice or aspects of our life we're not familiar with, and we're not really used to them, and so we may feel a little awkward or ill at ease. But as time goes by, the more we get used to the various ways of Dhamma practice and monastic life, then things feel better, and we're able to really look for and find the highest riches, the greatest treasures that this manusa, this human birth can afford us. And this comes from putting forth great effort and energy, and otton, patient endurance, as its foundation. As these are principles which we have to cultivate and foster in our lives. We've all probably heard that the Buddha attained enlightenment under the Bodhi tree in India. But really, what happened, it wasn't a place, it wasn't where he was sitting. The important thing is that he realized truth. He realized the liberation dhammas. He understood the bodhipakya dhammas, the factors that lead to awakening. He realized enlightenment. And this truth is within us, it's inside us, and it will arise in us based on our firm mental aspiration or clear ideals that we hold up and strive to live up to. In the Bodhipakya Dhammas, the wings of awakening, it's divided into various lists. For example, the 4 Satipatthānas, the 4 right efforts, the Indriyas, the Balas, the 7 Bojjhangas, the Eightfold Path, etc. But all of this can be summarized or grouped into Sila, Samadhi and Panya. The Bodhipakya Dhammas, the wings of awakening, are qualities of mind that lead us to knowing and seeing. And this arises based on developing minds which are not obscured by delusion or bound up with attachments. For example, take the four satipatthanas, for example. These are putting our awareness based on the things which our very life is bound up with, i.e. the mind and the body. We look at the body, we see it as not permanent, it's not stable, there's no self there, it doesn't last long. It's just the various aspects of what we call life come together. And as a result, we're able to abandon asmimana, this conceit, the conceit I am, based on which we tend to lose ourselves, get lost in delusion. And so in time, when the mind gathers in one point, then we'll begin to see clearly this truth. This is what we call the Pabasarajita, the radiant mind, the luminous mind. Will see clearly and know that which is unwholesome, that which is wholesome. And one who understands these things is very circumspect. So we see the material external world first. Then when we see that clearly, we look inside. We look at the nama dhammas. We see what is there, what is this process of mind. It's what we call the world, and it's bound up with much intoxication and delusion. It gives rise to loka dhammas, the dhammas that around which the world turns. And so we have to have mindfulness. Where do we put our mindfulness? We put our mindfulness onto the process of these mental states. See how our various mental states arise, always bound up with delighting and aversion, sukha and dukkha, which we call Vedana. And with mindfulness we see Vedana is just Vedana. It's not us, it's not ours. We'll see it just as a process of Dhamma. Upada Titi Bhanga. That means it arises, it remains for a while, and then disintegrates. So that mind that sees that inclines towards letting go and putting down. And so our mind begins to flow in line with the stream of Satya Dhamma, the truth of the law of nature. We see that most of our experience is Maya, illusion. And this is what the world is. And it leads to lack of freedom, not freedom. We're always bound up with sukha or dukkha, somanassa, domanassa. So we have to have sati sampajanya. So when we understand this aspect of the mind and mental states, then we're in a position to begin to adapt and adjust and improve our viewpoint or the way we experience things. We see that everything is just arising and passing away. It's just like a mirage. It's just the way the sunlight is streaming down, which causes it to seem like there's something ahead. It's just sukha and dukkha vedana arising. And this is the mind of the Buddha, the awakened mind, the enlightened mind, bound up with sati sampajanya. So the Buddha knew very clearly what states to develop. The Buddha called both sukha and dukkha mara, because sukha, even happiness, leads to slavery, the slavery of delusion and wrong views. So with mindfulness we see very clearly Maya, we see illusion. We see that this whole mental experience is not us, it's not ours. We see, it's called seeing it tam kwam pen jing, seeing it in line with the truth of nature. And we understand then whatever is of the nature to arise is of the nature to pass away. And as a result we abandon delight and aversion in things. So what we call atapi sampajano, ardent and clearly comprehending. We see with sati panya. And this is the Dhamma that leads to liberation. Gives rise to the state of being the Puru, the one who knows, and Puttu, the awakened one. Puru means knowing what Dhammas to abandon and what Dhammas to cultivate. When you know and see this, your mind inclines towards letting go and putting down. And when we see with mindfulness sukha and dukkha, you see the whole mental process in the mind. You see that sometimes it's very often the mental states arise based on external things like society and external sense impressions and activities. And so when we sometimes will experience wholesome mind states, we just have mindfulness. We have both, because we know that both wholesome and unwholesome mind states are sampayut, means are bound up, are conjoined with they have their causes and conditions. and they will always hinder, obstruct our process of clarity and pollute the mind. Even animals, even in the animal realm, there's always this process, winning and losing. So when sometimes the mind is bound up or connected with something like states of unwanting, states of negativity, this gives rise to anger. Anger, the Buddha called the ragagi, the fire of anger. The fire of craving, the fire of anger, the fire of delusion. So we can all see this very clearly. If there's a fire, if anger is a fire, if unwholesomeness is fire, then we can't simply not have it. We can't just say, I don't want it. So first we have to learn how to relate to it properly, how to adapt and adjust ourselves with regard to the fires of greed, hatred and delusion. So we just see that these are just moods of negativity, or just a mood or a mind state of indulgence, a mind state of infatuation or intoxication. See it as just that, and no longer support and foster and nurture them. So as a result, these unwholesome states will just slowly die out, in the same way that a fire will go out if you no longer give it any fuel. And what we call a wholesome mind, what's usually called the kusala jit, this can also have its dangers. For example, metta. If metta if we practice metta or have metta in our mind without mindfulness, then attachments can arise based on it. We can become worried and concerned for those people we have metta for. So we have to, and this can create future results, vipaka. So we have to understand, we have to have faith in the law of action, the law of kamma saddha. We have to have faith in vipaka saddha, the law of actions giving rise to results. And ultimately, we end up having faith in tathagata bodhisattva. This means faith in one's ability, in our own ability to improve and develop ourselves. Usually this would be translated as faith in the enlightenment of the Tathagata, or faith in the Buddha's enlightenment. But really, if we think about it, without improving and adapting and increasing his wholesome states, then the Buddha wouldn't have attained any enlightenment, even with the firmest mental determination, with the firmest adhitanas. So it really means, so we can really look at it in terms of faith in the capacity of a human being to improve and develop themselves. Practice is nothing other than the eradication of our defilements, using such things as the Tudonga waters, or putting forth effort in the kamatanas, like the 5 kamatanas given by an upajjhaya: hair of the head, hair of the body, nails, teeth and skin. And when we see in the light of Dhamma that these are just the aspects of our life, then we can slowly eradicate clinging. So we have to have constant mindfulness. As a community, sometimes gathering together and meditating, and then reciting together the qualities of the Buddha kun, Dhamma kun, Sangha kun, putting forth effort. But even knowing that when we put forth effort will always have its obstacles, its enemy. This is laziness. It's always going to be there. Just like even a very clean place will have dirt gathering all the time. The mind is the same. So we have to have sati, and as a result not to lose ourselves, get lost in delusion. Develop the bodhipakya dhammas, develop sila, samadhi, panya. This is the way to practice, by means of adapting and changing your nisai, your underlying tendencies or character traits. And rather than following your moods and tendencies, basing your life in line with Dhamma Vinaya. If you're pure in Dhamma Vinaya, then this is very good. If your Dhamma Vinaya is not pure, then this is not good. Sometimes Dhamma is pure, but Vinaya is not pure. That's not good either. Sometimes Vinaya is pure, but the Dhamma is not pure. That's not good either. So we come together and recite, chant, and reflect on Dhamma Vinaya, and develop these qualities in ourselves. So today I don't really have anything to offer you, just these few words, these reflections. For all of you, being here means that you're people who see the importance of developing yourselves in line with the principles of the noble ones, and as a result you will reap benefits which are boundless. So I anumodana your efforts. You have to have otton, patient endurance, and you have to develop the samana sarup, the attitude and aspects, the ways of a samana, of one gone forth. And that means you have to be people who determine to avoid any evil, and to determine and to develop that which is good. You have to be good friends to one another, developing lots of metta and lots of warmth for one another, living in mutual support. And this will be of great benefit in all of our lives. Sadhu, 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 anumo